To celebrate Star Wars returning to movie theaters again, I want to make a video where I talk about all my favorite scenes in every single Star Wars movie. Now to clarify, there's only my favorite scenes, particularly one, maybe two if they're connected to one another for some of them, but these are my favorite scenes, and I'll reiterate that my favorite scenes aren't the best. Well, make that clear, this isn't the best scenes in the movies, they're my favorite. Make that clear. Also, we're going in release order because I'm covering movies that no one really cares about. So that's why I'm doing release order, to just cover everything in the history of Star Wars. First, we have A New Hope, and that's when Luke is training on the Falcon. And the reason why this is my favorite scene is because in most blockbusters, you don't really get to see the main characters chilling out and hanging out. And that's why A New Hope is different, because it's a blockbuster where you see the characters just chilling, they're just hanging out. They're in between the big moments in the movie, and this scene you don't really need to include it because, like, in the movie itself, Luke doesn't really use a lightsaber in A New Hope. He uses it in The Empire Strikes Back, but like, I know for the trilogy it makes sense, but for the movie itself it doesn't make sense at all. Like, Luke trained with a lightsaber, he doesn't use a lightsaber at all in the rest of the movie, so it's a pointless scene. But what does work, the reason why it's in the movie is because it's character building. Seeing all these characters and their dynamics work off one another, because everyone in this scene comes from complete different backgrounds, and seeing them all come off one another is so much fun, and it's really cool to just see these characters chilling out and hanging out before they arrive at the Death Star. Yeah, like I said, we have to cover the non-important Star Wars movies, and this is the first one, the holiday special. My favorite scene in the holiday special is when the Han and Chewbacca show up to save Chewbacca's family. The holiday special is absolute garbage, but I like this scene, as even though Harrison Ford is clearly half-assing this, he's still doing a pretty decent job. And there's no time in the movie where I'm like, this is actually pretty good. I like this. I like the little bit of action that happens here, and I like how it strengthens Han's character, as it really shows that he really does care about Chewbacca and his family. As in this one scene where he does interact with his family, you get the sense that he knows his family very well, and that's very wholesome, because as much as they are just like smuggling partners to do smuggling stuff, Han really does care about Chewbacca, and seeing him go out of his way to get him to his family, that's really cool. And that's the only time in the movie I'm like, this actually works. It strengthens Han's character, so I give it that. The Empire Strikes Back, we have the conversation between Luke, Leia, and Han, or more specifically Han, Leia, after Han rescues Luke from the Wampa attack. That little scene is very, very funny. Like, some of those iconic lines are in this scene. It's, I think, one of the funniest scenes in the history of Star Wars. It's so funny, and I just like, this group of characters, and this is why the original trilogy works so well, because all these actors, all the characters, they're well written, well acted, and just having a scene that, again, you can just cut out of the movie, nothing would change, but like having a scene in here, it shows the character dynamics and just how funny they are and how great they are working together. And I believe it's like the last time the entire, cast is really together in this movie. Return of the Jedi, we have Vader Redemption, and this isn't only satisfying in terms of the original trilogy, but also the prequel trilogy, as Vader, sacrificing his life to save Luke from the Emperor, is very, very satisfying. And for me personally, the reason why it's here is because it emotionally can be hard, because I rewatched the movie over and over and over again, throughout my life, and when I was a teenager, I remember rewatching, Return of the Jedi again, and when Vader, Luke takes off Vader's helmet, and, his final act before he dies is seeing him with his own eyes, that got to me. I didn't cry, but I was like, I realized, like, this is really sad. And having Vader's leitmotif play after he dies, that also hits me hard as well. And so personally to me, the reason why it's here is because personally I just feel, that was the first time I really felt sad watching a Star Wars film, or should I rewatching it, because I didn't feel this way before, but like, every time I rewatch it now, ever since then, it just hits me hard because it's really bittersweet the way Vader goes out. Oh boy, this next one, Caravan of Courage. No one really cares, and honestly, I don't have a favorite scene in this movie. Honestly, my favorite scenes are the ones with the stop motion creatures. As the one thing I give to this movie is that the stop motion work for these creatures and aliens are very well done, and those are my favorite scenes because they're so visually stunning. Even the puppets that they have, it's so visually stunning. That's really cool. It's come out in like the 80s. It's like this TV movie, and these stop motion things, they look so real and great, and so that's the only good thing I can give that. Following that, we have Battle for Endor, and it's actually the same thing with the stop motion creature being really well done, really great, very immersive, and sometimes terrifying. But if I were to give an actual scene besides that, it would be the final scene where the main character girl, gets on the ship and, takes off from Endor, because you spend 2 movies with this character, and, it's kind of bittersweet. So you say goodbye to Wicket and all the friends she made, and her leaving off, in the final scene of the movie, her going away, so, off to Endor. So, to me when I first watched it, I was like, that's bittersweet. So that's why it's my favorite scene in that movie. The Phantom Menace, I have the last part of the Maul Obi-Wan Qui-Gon duel. Basically, there's also technically 2 scenes as well, as this counts Qui-Gon's death. But it's more the final part of the battle, not the entire Battle of Duel of the Fates, but if I had to be more specific, the final part of it, when they're in the ray shields, and it's really, really cool. And also the lightsaber fight itself between Obi-Wan and Maul, I absolutely love it. Like, that's why it's my favorite scene in this movie, because I absolutely love it. Yeah, I could have chose other scenes in this movie to pick my favorite, because I like a lot of scenes in this movie, but ever since I was a kid, I loved, this little fight at the end with Obi-Wan and Maul, because that's when Maul kills Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan's just full of, revenge, you could say, and they're both going on, and it's so great. Attack the Clones, we have a scene with Dooku telling Obi-Wan the truth about Palpatine. And the reason why this is my favorite scene out of Attack of the Clones is because, again, as with Phantom Menace, I could have chose other scenes in this movie as well, because I like a lot of scenes in Attack of the Clones. But I chose this one, as it really does a great job capturing Dooku's personality. This is the first time I've really seen Dooku's personality with the main character. This is the first time I've seen Dooku with interacting with the main character. And you get the insight that he's not really a bad person, but rather he joined the dark side, he joined the Separatists because of political differences. And that's the vibe you get off of Dooku. He's not a true villain like Palpatine is, but he's doing this mainly because he disagrees with what the Jedi have become, how Jedi have been intertwined into the politics of the Republic. And, so it's a really great scene, and obviously Christopher Lee does a great job portraying him, and really carries the scene. Revenge of the Sith, I have the scene where Anakin gets denied the rank of Master, and we talk about the Clone Wars. You may ask, well, why this one? There's so many great moments in this movie. Order 66, the duel with Anakin and Obi-Wan, duel with Palpatine and Yoda. Why did I choose this? Well, to me personally, because this is my favorite scene, because I love how far the Jedi have gone, that, they're literally talking about the Clone Wars as Jedi. Like, all the Jedi here, the Grand Masters, they're all just talking about the Clone Wars, and not about the Force. The Jedi are about the will of the Force, but they're not really doing that here. They're just talking about the Clone Wars, which is really cool, because it's the only time, at least in live action, in the movies, that we get to see the actual Jedi talking about the Clone Wars and strategies and where to go, and it's really cool. Now, I remember the scene being much longer, but it's actually quite short. The Clone Wars movie, we have Ahsoka's introduction, and all I can really say about this is the Clone Wars movie is very mid, but the introduction scene to Ahsoka is very fun, as, after rewatching it, it's sort of like this misconception that Obi-Wan believes that Ahsoka is his master, but it turns out it's not. She's the master of Anakin, and Ahsoka's like, I'm actually Anakin's master. Yoda's something here specifically for him, and it's a very fun scene, and that's kind of my favorite, because the first 20 minutes of this movie are great, but the rest of it sucks. So, or I say very, very mid, it's just not that spectacular, really. It's very, very mid stuff, but the first 20 minutes are really great, and this scene sort of highlights it. The Force Awakens, we have Rey and Finn fighting TIE Fighters in the Falcon. The reason why I chose this, because this is the only time where it feels like the trilogy is really on its own 2 feet. At the beginning of The Force Awakens, just has the new characters, and I think it works much better like that. Not to say the legacy characters in here make it worse. It doesn't. It does the opposite. but at the same time, Rey and Finn working together in the Falcon. That's sort of the only time that not only do we see them working together very well, but also the scene itself is very fun. And if more scenes were like that, because there are scenes that are like that in the other movies and sequel trilogy, but like at the same time, they're so few and far between that like it doesn't really matter. And so rewatching this scene, I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite scene because like you only get that for the rest of the movie. It's very fun, very action packed. Visually it's stunning, like it's great. And it's a really great character work building up Rey and Finn's connection as this is the start of them becoming friends and caring about one another. So, yeah, that's why I just really like it. Rogue One, we have the Vader hallway scene. This is very, very stereotypical. Granted, I should have chosen another part of the movie to my favorite scene, which I do have other parts I do really like. But I come on, I can't just like pass this up. Of course, it's the number one scene. It's everyone's favorite scene in this movie. The last couple minutes are awesome on how it connects Rogue One to New Hope. It's awesome. It's great. It's very, very well told, very well directed. Just the way that it all works is so smooth. It's like the smoothest transition between any two films I've ever seen ever. The Last Jedi, we have Luke talking to R2 on the Falcon. And I chose this one because I could have chose the Battle Crate, as I really do love that section as well. Luke's characterization is very messy in this movie, but I give Rian Johnson, he made one scene where he felt like his old self, and now is the point. Rian Johnson is self-aware that he changed Luke a lot, and you got a glimpse of the old Luke when he sees R2. You see him all happy again, and you see the old Luke again. And once the scene ends, it goes back to grumpy old man Luke. But that one scene, the one time you see him as his old self, and R2 shows the hologram of Leia. It's a very important scene as it convinces him to train Rey. So it's very, very valuable. It's very, very cool. And I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, oh, this is a nostalgia bait. But rewatching it, it's very important to the story. And it's the only time we see Luke in his old self again for this brief moment. Solo, we have the Kessel Run. I love this entire section. Now, this is technically one really long scene, and it's so worth it. It's very action-packed, very cool, very just like, what the hell am I watching here? But that's the whole point. Solo is a very fun movie, and a lot of people don't give this movie credit as well if they didn't go and see it, and probably haven't seen it ever, really. There's people who have never seen this movie. I recommend you do so, as there's a lot of fun moments in this thing that, yes, it's not that deep of a movie, but it's very, very fun. The Kessel Run is like the encapsulation of that. And finally, the Rise of Skywalker, we have Kylo Ren's redemption, where Han talks, and where the ghost of Han talks from, or I guess the memory of Han. Obviously, this is my favorite scene as well, but I don't really have any other favorite scene in this movie because I don't really like the Rise of Skywalker, really. So it's kind of a default my favorite scene as it's really great as it's a parallel to The Force Awakens. Also thematically it does work as well, as Han being there to talk to Kylo Ren is a way to sort of heal his wounds after what happened in The Force Awakens killing him. So it's a nice redemption, nice little scene to really make Kylo Ren's character back to Ben Solo. It's a really nice transition as you can visually see him change from that. So that's it. Those are all my favorite scenes from every single Star Wars movie. And yeah, this is really fun to make. I really like it. What are your favorite scenes? As obviously my favorite scenes are not yours, because I think you'll have way more better options. But a lot of these are more personal to me, as I've been watching Star Wars since I was a child. So personally, I have moments that I resonate more with, that I like to rewatch, as you may have different ones. So if you guys enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe when you go now. So goodbye, everyone.